everyone, and welcome to Joy Beyond Dentistry. Thank you for joining us again today. We look forward to an exciting episode today, so welcome, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Welcome and again. Like Dr. Durán said, we're looking forward to this episode. Last time we touched a little bit about how I dealt with a situation in 2018 that challenged my career in terms of dealing with a fire and rebuilding. Today, we want to hear about Dr. Durán's journey. And, in life, many times we're presented with situations that are not ideal, but still there's many things that we can find joy and passion and excitement about. And that's what this episode is going to be about. Still dealing with situations on a daily basis that have not completely resolved, but how does he deal with that and finds passion in service and joy in a daily living? So, Dr. Durán, can you tell us a little bit about your story?
Yes, thank you, Noemi. Be glad to talk about it. So I'm going to go back a little bit. I came out of dental school in '84 at the age of 23. In 1988, together with my wife, we started a practice with 5 chairs, and it was great. It was great. We were working together. She was in the practice 3 days a week. The family started to grow. We got initially 2 kids. Then a third one came in, and by the time my wife was pregnant out of the 4th one, we decided that it was about time that she was going to be taking a short break. Then she became pregnant out of the 5th one, and as I say, she's still in that short break. But the reality is that even though she was at home, she was my right and my left hand. Yvette was everything for me, my best friend, my companion, my partner, my business partner, and she was just amazing. But in 2016, her mom got quite ill, and she started having some difficulty taking care of some of the office matters. And so eventually we hired somebody, and she stopped doing those. Her mom eventually passed away, but the interesting thing was that even though she was not that busy because her mom was gone, we could notice that she was having some difficulties in terms of managing the daily affairs and the little things that we had to do. Sometimes we had a conversation in the morning, and by the end of the day, some things were missing. Well, long story short, in 2018, that's about the time when you had your fire, Yvette was diagnosed with an early onset Alzheimer's disease in 2018.
Wow. That's a big undertake. How old was she at that time?
She was, 54? Yeah, 54. Yeah, 54. She was at that point. The interesting story is that when I was told about it, I was called a physician. He got me seated in the office, and she said this: your wife has a very clear Alzheimer's disease, early onset Alzheimer's disease case, or her reflexes are going down very quickly. She should not be driving anymore. And by the way, and this is exactly how she said it. By the way, get ready, because in 2 years, she's going to be gone. And
wow.
December of 2018. That's a game changer, right?
Wow. So 5 kids, you have your practice. She's taking care of mainly everything for the family while you're practicing, and then you get this news. And yeah, that's way worse than having an office fire.
It's a different fire, but thanks to the Lord, we decided that let's keep moving forward. My kids, particularly the older ones, are extremely helpful. And we just decided that we're going to live every single day as we can. Eventually, when COVID came, she totally stopped driving. She only asked why once. The good news is that she was never aware of what was going on and how she was breaking down. So when you hear that you got 2 years left, you really want to take the most out of it. So that's what we had on our mind. We used to love traveling, so we decided we were going to keep doing that. In 2019, we went to a conference at the ACD in San Diego, and I still remember the conference was ready to get started. I was going to go up on stage to get the accreditation medal, and she got lost. She got lost. She couldn't make it back to the convention center, which was next door from the hotel. And so that was the last time we traveled together alone. But we decided to keep traveling together as a family, and we're blessed in many ways. We're able to do that till 2023, so a lot more than what I was told initially.
You know, it's impressive to me because when I first met you and with your positivity and how you continue to have passion for dentistry and service for others, I would have never thought you would be dealing with a situation like this, and you're still dealing with it. It's not that 2 years passed and, it's a blessing that she's still with you and your family. And a question I have for you to share with the audience is, I know that was a big shock and a sad shock, to share with your kids and for you to handle. But how do you still find joy? How do you manage to continue on a daily basis to be present for your practice, for your kids, for yourself, and have the outlook in life that you have and share with others?
Well, that's a very interesting question, and could be talking for a long time about it. But I would say, I think there are basically three things that come to my mind. The first one is prayer and faith. There's no way I could be going along without the Lord's help. Everything happens for a reason, and sometimes we just have to fall on our knees and pray for guidance, pray for wisdom. And that's basically how I start my day every single day. I say thanks and asking my Lord, help me be what you want me to be, help me be the best version of myself, give me the wisdom to keep going forward. And together with that comes gratitude. So part of my prayer is being grateful and counting our blessings. There's so many things that we can be happy about, and when we choose to look and focus on those, life becomes a lot happier. There's a lot of little places where you'll find joy. But that's part of it. So prayer, faith, gratitude, and together with gratitude, when I look at my family, my 5 kids, that's quite a blessing. That's quite a blessing it's an extension of my wife, Yvette, and I'm so happy to have them around. And to me, they are a motivation to keep me moving forward, to stay healthy. I want to be there for them. So family, prayer, faith, gratitude, family. And the third one, I would say, is service to others. We are in a profession that we have the ability to change people's lives. So there's a lot in that. When you put your energy in serving others and doing it to your best, there's a lot of joy in that. And not only in our patients, but our team members, our community, pushing other doctors to move forward, and also being a support to other causes that we try to work with. That service to others brings a lot of joy. And keeps your mind in something beyond what the little hardships of the day can be. So to me, I don't have time in my day to think about what is not going as I expected, or more than anything else, to grab my blessings and be happy about them.
I love that. And I remember when you first told me about your situation, and, it was quite shocking to me too. It was a surprise. But I remember you said we were quite blessed, and that's what I focus on, all our memories together and still the memories that we're building. And I know that did not, you had passion with your family of traveling, and that did not stop you from traveling. Any memories that you can share that you remember after her diagnosis that you still were able to include her with the family trips. And if you can share that with us, because that does bring joy. It's not that life ends when there's a diagnosis like that. It's like, well, how do we continue to live and continue to be a family even with the hardship?
Yeah. Part of the joy of life is building memories with those that you love. In traveling was a great opportunity to do that. And so when Yvette had the diagnosis, he said the clock is ticking. And there was something I had kind of had a dream of doing, was doing the Camino de Santiago. The Camino de Santiago is Santiago's Way. Maybe some of you have heard about it. It's a pilgrimage on the north shore, the north side of Spain. And so that's a trip that I wanted to do for my 60th birthday in 2020. So we had everything planned, and Yvette was doing quite well. But then COVID hit. So everything had to be canceled. We couldn't make that trip. So I thought we were not gonna be able to do it. But fortunately, she stayed quite well, and we were able to do that trip in 2023. And let me tell you, if there is something that we cherish and all my kids remember, is that amazing trip. The longest trip I've ever had, and we were away for 40 days. But we were together from Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port in France to Santiago de Compostela for 35 days, about 650 miles.
And she was able to do it with you.
She was able to do it. Most of it, I mean, we had to contact a car so that they could help us when we needed. But she's a significant part of it, and she had a great time. We had a great time together. Food in Spain is great, but the views, the memories, it's just an amazing trip.
And that's refreshing to hear, that having her involved in that and being part of that memory that all of you cherish, you always remember that. And I know Yvette's still around, and I had the pleasure to meet her last year during Thanksgiving when I visited Puerto Rico, and very cheerful person, smiling, laughing. So you can see that she had a lot of joy in her life herself, because she still carries it even with her condition. And you are very passionate about your practice. You're very passionate about your family. And how now, on the present moment, do you deal with all of that? And I want to hear about your passion for dentistry. Also, if you can share a little bit, right after her diagnosis, you had just started a big project with your wanting to expand your practice, and that included construction and all of that. So if you can share a little bit about, I know I put two questions there, but a little bit about how you are dealing still with the situation, and then a little bit about how you still had the passion for building and growing right after a diagnosis like that.
Yeah, a couple of questions. I'll try to get into my best.
I'll get back to the second one after you answer the first one.
I'll go back to the trip for one more thing. If you ask me what was the most significant part of that trip, I'll tell you. That's a trip that everyone should do. Because when you are walking with your loved ones for 5-6 hours a day, you get to do a lot of talking. So we had some of the most amazing conversations I had with my family and my kids during that trip. It was 5-6 hours together, walking, talking. So it was amazing family time. Plus, the food, the views, the spirituality of that trip. That pilgrimage started to go on the 10th century. So there's a lot of stories around it. And some people do it just for touristic reasons, for sport reasons, for faith reasons, whatever. It was part of ours. But it was not a trip that we were doing just to pray for my wife to be healthy. To me, it was more of a gratitude trip. And there's some stories around that, and maybe some other day we'll share it. But spending those 5-6 hours a day that to me was the highlight of that trip, something that we'll never forget. It was the best vacation we have ever had. Unfortunately, I was able to enjoy it. So then,
Thank you for sharing that.
So getting back to the first question was construction. So interesting enough, when my wife was diagnosed, I mean, we already knew that there was something going on. We didn't have all the details on the final diagnosis, but we knew that there was something going on. But in 2000, around 2018, I had decided that I was going to modify my practice. I have been running, 5 treatment room practice for almost, 30 years. And there was something that I knew I did not want it to go through. And it's what I call the slow death. Slow death is when people start reducing their activity in the office slowly. You start to cut your staff. You start to paying attention to some of the details because you're coming close maybe to retirement and everything starts to slow or starts to die. In 2016, I said, I don't want to go that route. I want to grow my practice, grow other people together with us so that someday I can walk out the back door to something bigger than me. So yeah, that was a project. And so by the time she was diagnosed, it was exactly the time when we were ready to get started. We started our construction at the end of December, basically at the beginning of 2019. So in 2019, which interesting enough was around the time that you had your fire and we're building. Yeah. And so by November, end of October, November 2019, we opened our new space. We doubled our space. We went for in square footage, but in terms of treatment rooms, we're from 5 to 12. So now we are a team of 6 doctors and 25 people in our team. And to me, that's really gratifying because of the footprint that you're living in those around you. Now we have about 30 families that are being fed from our office, and the impact that we can provide to our community in terms of the service and in terms of the activities that we support is really significant. So that has been amazing. Yeah.
That's
and
great.
Then, what's the other question?
I just want to say that, impressive, like during that time, still had the motivation and passion with a vision to continue to move forward. And, I have to say that's one of the secrets of joy in life. I mean, what are we looking forward to? What and what is our passion? What is driven it? And your purpose was, well, I don't want a slow death. I want my practice to service more the community. And you had that service mindset. And then that passion for growth to serve, continue to, the way you're sharing it seems like that it continued to provide joy during a hardship and difficult situations. So that's a great example of, finding joy on the daily basis with challenges among us. So the other question, go ahead.
There's so many things that we can always be grateful for. And gratitude is a big source of joy. So, as I said, I always try to count my blessings, and there's so many around us. And regarding the office project, Yvette was part of it. That's something that she was very supportive and wanted that to move forward. There was no reason why not to continue it. And today we have a big family picture in the hallway. And as patients come in, I get to hear this Dr. Durán and Dr. Yvette Martinez, and together they started this practice in 1988. And so everybody gets to hear about Yvette, and the name of the practice is Durán and Martinez. And as long as I'm here, her name is going to be here. She was part of this trip.
That's lovely. Lovely. So I have one more question for you. I mean, you're still dealing with this situation currently. And when I had the fire, there were some work during the process, the rebuild and lessons learned, silver linings, but it happened and we moved on. But you're still in the situation of dealing with your wife's diagnosis, with your family, and also running a very successful practice, busy practice, plus traveling, continuing education, and finding ways to be philanthropic, generous, and how are you dealing with all of that in a currently, right now, the present moment?
Well, at some point we talk about balance, and balance is sometimes trying to keep all your balls in the air as you're juggling with them. And the reality is that we all carry some particular situations. It's all about the way we choose to look at them. My wife, on the good news, I mean, she's very easy to take care of. Her hard disk is mostly gone, so she doesn't recognize us, but she's always laughing, she's always smiling, so there's so much good in her, and it's very easy to take care of. It's really easy to take care of her. We got some great caretakers, part of our team, so I have the blessing of being surrounded by great people in my team, at home with the caretakers. So that's one that makes my life easier. The other one, to me, is about the way I look at it. It's not about stopping and complaining and just try to look at the bright side of everything. And there's so many things that we can find joy in them and cherish. Why stopping with the ones that are not working exactly as you plan? And again, there's good in everything that happens around us. So that's the way I try to see it. And to me, the practice of dentistry and serving others and building up smiles, which is my passion, to me, it's a great source of joy. And as I mentioned at the beginning, it gives us the opportunity to serve others in many other ways. The families that we support, the projects around the community that we support, and all those are a great source of joy. So it doesn't matter what your story is, what are the loads that you're carrying. It's about choosing the way you want to see them and where you want to put your attention. Is it on the things that are not going that great, or on the so many others that we are blessed with? And that's the way I choose to deal with them. And that's how I keep moving forward. And only God knows when I'm going to stop. But for the moment being, I mean, we're going to keep moving forward.
And there's a big lesson from it. Yes, we all deal with some sort of situation on a daily basis. Big, small, it could be, something small for someone can be something big for someone else. It depends how we all deal with it, right? But in the previous episode, we talked a little bit about when we are thinking about serving others and thinking of others and not feeling sorry for ourselves, there's a lot of power on that even if we have a hardship and it's hard to deal with, it's like what we said, like pain and suffering can be different things. You can be having pain, but choose not to suffer from it. So when we're focusing on what's the purpose of our lives, especially to serve those around us, and you somehow find the motivation and the joy to continue, and it gives you that satisfaction and purpose to move forward. So that's a big lesson. And dentistry, and the title of our podcast is Joy Beyond Dentistry. It doesn't mean that we're looking beyond dentistry and there's no joy in dentistry. No, it's about there is so much joy in the profession as well, and as we combine it with our daily living and like you mentioned, balance, there's not such a thing as perfect balance, but how do we combine our daily family life situations with our passion for dentistry and serving others, and how that all comes together is, I think that's the secret of how we continue moving forward without finding the dreaded word burnout, right? Because we hear about burnout all the time, and burnout, it's not only about working hard and dealing with hard situations. It's like doing things that don't bring us passion and joy. And when you're constantly doing that, yes, you face burnout, but it's not about not doing anything to avoid burnout. No, we have to continue doing things with passion to also avoid burnout, right? And
burnout, to me, burnout is like joy. Joy is a choice. Burnout sometimes can be a choice. It's just the way you choose to deal with your days, your practice, your family, and all the situations that lives are bringing us. So joy is not about having a perfect life. It's not about having a perfect day. At least it doesn't work for me that way. But I'd rather choose to put my attention on those many good things or blessings that we have around us. As I said at the beginning, to me, it's about faith, prayer that really supports me, gratitude, family, and serving others. Because there's so many opportunities to find joy in each one of those that keeps us going. So that's the way I deal with it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Durán, for sharing your story. You know, it has always inspired me since I first heard about it. And I want to share something that, from your story that you didn't mention, but when you shared that with me, got me a little bit emotional, is that you told me that still every month your wife Yvette receives a fresh arrangement of orchids. And that's how you did before for her, and that she continues to receive it. And you mentioned she might not appreciate it, but they're still there for her. And that is so beautiful, because when you look at life that way, it's so inspiring. So I admire you so much, and your story, I know our audience is gonna really enjoy it. So thank you. And
thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. There's so many things that we can be grateful for. And those flowers, as you said, Noemi, those flowers are part of the joy that we share. Looking at them every single day, I know that she enjoys them one way or the other. So thank you for joining us today. So this is our episode. It's quite a pleasure to have all of you with us. So thank you again.
Thank you, everyone. And remember, joy is a choice.
Thank you.